Hi there, my name is Gareth Marie. I'm from KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa. I'm co-founder of Heartfelt Horsemanship. I just want to talk about a movement we call the rollover. The reason we do a rollover is for relaxation, but it's got a number of other aspects to it that are very helpful for groundwork. The main reason I do groundwork is to cause relaxation with a horse. I don't believe that horses are unpredictable or spooky by nature. If we pay attention, they're pretty predictable, and if we work on relaxation, they're no longer spooky. So the hindquarter disengagement, which most people that are interested in natural horsemanship would have covered, I'm pretty sure to be covered by a number of videos in this summit. So I'm going to talk about a progression of that. As important as groundwork is to cause relaxation, if we keep doing it the same monotonous movements, horses do kind of get dull to it and bored. So we like to keep it interesting. But the movement that I'm going to do today, the rollover on the ground, has a direct impact on how they carry themselves as well as the relaxation. Living in South Africa, we have a very clear understanding of why a hindquarter disengagement works. When you see another equid, the zebra, get a fright or see a lion or what it thinks is a lion, it'll flee for 300 to 500 meters. That's their flight path. Once they reach the end of that flight path, they will cross over their hind legs, turn and assess danger. If the lion's still coming, they'll go back into their flight mode and run for another 300 to 500 meters. If it's not, they switch into the reasoning part of their brain and drop down, assess that the danger's gone, and carry on eating. So because of how a horse's brain is structured, the things we know thanks to things like the Best Horse Practices Summit and evidence-based horsemanship with Dr. Stephen Peters and Martin Black, we now know that horses have a very underdeveloped frontal lobe. So most of their brain is triggered by mechanical movements. So by mimicking their back legs crossing over, we cause them to shift into what they call the parasympathetic nervous system, which is the reasoning part of their brain. So before we work on this, the rollover on the ground, we need to have a few things in place, which I'm sure that will be covered elsewhere in the summit. But if you are interested in learning our approach to it, you can find Heartfelt Horsemanship on YouTube, on Facebook, or on Instagram. Or you can email Heartfelt Horsemanship at heartfeltkzn@gmail.com. So that email address again after I've flubbed it, heartfeltkzn@gmail.com. Okay, so there's a few things I need in place before I get to doing this combination movement. So I need a really light hindquarter disengagement. By really light, I mean hardly any cue given. Okay, happy with that. Give my horse a little bit of a rest in between. And scratch. And ask for the other side. Okay, so he's crossed over his hind legs, that's the hindquarter disengagement. I also need my forequarter yield. Cherokee's just asking to be introduced. Hunter's Cherokee Dream. He's a 5-year-old Appaloosa stallion, and he's saying hi to the stallions over in that paddock. So for my forequarters, I again want a really light response. So get this lightness and then progress to the combination movements. So, okay, yield to the forequarters. Okay, so a light hindquarter disengagement, note light forequarter yield. the reason is we'll need those communications in place to be able to do the rollover on the ground effectively. Now another aspect I need is I need to be able to send my horse on a circle, again with a light send. I don't consider this lunging. I'm not a big fan of lunging. It's just a personal thing. I see that constant chasing is we're missing an opportunity to build connection with the horse rather than chase it. So by a light send on the circle, I would ideally, before I get to this, not have to swing my rope. Then within that, I want to have my transitions very light as well. So a very light upward transition. So right there, I needed to swing my rope for my upward transition, which means I'll work on that before I progress to the rollover on the ground. Okay, I need a light downward transition. Doesn't go from a distance. Okay, so I just want to get both sides that his upward transition is just from the lifted lead it, rather than having to swing. Okay, better on that side. Downward transition. So we need our transitions in place too. Okay, I'm going to do the send in the other direction and work on the upward transition. So again, I'm only ready to work on this once my upward transition is at the lightest request. Better. My downward transition, lightest request. Okay. Now I have my basics in place. I'm going to see how much he responds to the forequarters for changing direction before I get to working on the hindquarters. So when we turn our horse in general, we want them to sit back on their hind legs and use the forequarters to do the turn. But for the rollover on the ground, we want the hind end to come out and then the forequarters, because then it really makes them sit back on their hindquarters. So my slightest request for this is just a swing, and there I get him up to move his forequarters. Again. Okay, so my forequarters are working well, and my hindquarters from a distance are working well. Now I'm going to combine them. So the reason I want to have my horse do this rollover on the ground, which I'll show you shortly, is on a circle it can cause relaxation, but it also gets them nice and engaging. They step deep underneath them and roll their forequarters over. This is great for a horse that struggles to take lead changes, is not engaging their hindquarters enough. We also work on getting snappy departs by having them go into the rollover on the ground at a walk and come out at a trot. I'm obviously going to start going in at a walk and coming out at a walk, but I'm going to progress it, and as the horse gets better, you can do it where they go in at a trot, come out at a canter, go in at a walk, come out, and that really gets them nice and engaged. From a physical point of view, also builds great top line. Okay, I'm going to do it at a walk first. I'm going to go out on the circle. I will focus on the hind end, get the hind legs to cross over, and step across. That time he didn't cross the hind legs. We'll work it again now. And go back in that direction. Now this side, I'm going to expect him to not get it next time either. It's obviously just his stiffer side. So I'm going to show you what happens if they don't genuinely cross over at the hind. Now I'm going to slide up lead line, swing to the hindquarters. Okay, he stepped over, then I'll change and go to the forequarters. Again, slide up, swing to the hind end, forequarters and forward. This movement with the rope, if he doesn't cross over, I can walk towards it, get the crossover, and then only ask for the send it forward. Now, the rope movement you can actually practice without a horse, because obviously it's a lot of rope to get tangled in, and when you're trying to teach it to a horse, you want to be pretty coordinated with it. So you're learning at the same time as your horse can be tangling, and it can also be confusing for the horse. So you can actually tie your halter to a fence and just practice sliding up, changing direction. Okay, so slide up, send to the hindquarters, miss the hindquarter, step over, and back out. Okay, so he's thinking about going up into a trot already. I do that a lot with him because he wasn't stepping off for his departs well, so I'm working on getting that a bit better. So for now I'm going to go up where he walks in, disengages, turns the forequarters and leaves at a trot, and you'll see how much elevation he gets. So in at a walk, lift it, lead it, goes out on the circle, slide up that I've got contact but not full in, send to the hindquarters and leave it a trot. Bring him down to a walk. Hindquarters, he misses it, I'm going to stick to it, get him to step across. Telling me did the right thing. Okay. Great guys, like I said, any questions, drop us an email or get hold of us on Facebook or Instagram. I hope you enjoy the rest of the summit. Thank you.